Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Willie Lawson Show on Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com. We did a show today that explained hopefully how to take over the world using social media, and this is one of the tools that we use here on the Willie Lawson Show. We do a podcast, a internet radio show on Blog Talk Radio every day from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And occasionally we do something different. We come out here on Spreaker, and this show reaches a lot more people in a different way. And, we're trying to cover all our bases. And just as the show ended, as happens sometimes, just as the show ended today, I received a tweet. We use Twitter. And I saw a tweet going by on my Twitter feed that Eric Holder, Attorney General of the United States, had decided to step down. And I always investigate those things because there's so many times where things can be not true, where things can be said and not be true, especially on the internet and social media. So it takes a little bit to check out, and it is the truth. According to dailymail.co.uk, Attorney General Eric Holder fought back tears on Thursday as President Barack Obama praised his legal legacy as a civil rights champion after Holder announced his sudden resignation. Although Holder will leave the Justice Department under a cloud of controversies, the president gushed at his political eulogy that the America's top cop believes, as I do, that justice is not just an abstract theory, it's a living and breathing principle. You know what? This is so much BS, and we're going to hear so much of it, that this guy, Eric Holder, was a champion for justice. I was on the Ed Dean radio program, and we were talking about this and what's going to be his legacy. What's going to be his legacy is Fast and Furious. What's going to be his legacy is the lack of prosecution for the new Black Panther Party in the 2012 and 2012 election, as they as they participated in voter intimidation in Philadelphia. What's going to happen is his overstepping his boundaries recently in Ferguson. That's his legacy. His lack of participation in Fast and Furious, his lack of participation in the IRS scandal, in the NSA scandal. That's Holder's legacy. That's Holder's legacy. Under his watch, Obama said, the department has brought a record number of prosecutions for human trafficking and hate crimes. Because no one in America should be afraid to walk down the street because of the color of their skin, the love in their heart, and the faith they practice, or the disabilities they live with. And this guy was protecting who? He was protecting protecting colored people, gay people, and Muslims, and people who were with disabilities. This is so much political nonsense. This is the very same crap. This is the very same crap that that this particular administration has dealt with its entire time. And I'm not sure when people are going to get it. I know they're never going to get it. Because they're of the mind if that somebody says something, especially someone like the president says something, then it must be true. They say it, and it's got to be real. And what we've learned in this presidency is that nothing the president says pretty much is real. That it is so much more important. The rhetoric is so much more important than the reality. Holder will be known as Fast and Furious, and I think that it would be a horrible tragedy to and a horrible injustice to that border agent that was killed, for Holder to ever be anything other than the encumbrance to the investigation of Fast and Furious. So much, in fact, that 2 years ago, and I don't know if you guys remember, 2 years ago, the Congress actually held Eric Holder in contempt of Congress. Nothing was done. There's some scuttle that trial will continue. Now, the thing that gets me is that if that trial continues, if that trial continues, will Eric Holder, after he resigns, will not have access to a lot of the information they've been asking for. And this is why this is important. The DOJ has requested to delay the release of Fast and Furious document list. The U.S. District Court Judge John D. Bates has denied a request from the Department of Justice to delay the release of a list of Operation Fast and Furious documents being protected under President Obama's assertion of executive privilege. The list, better known as a Vaughn Index, was requested through the June 2012 Freedom of Information filing by government watchdog Judicial Watch. When the Department of Justice didn't respond to the Freedom of Information request in a time required by law, Judicial Watch sued in September of 2012, seeking all documents the DOJ and the White House are withholding from Congress under the executive privilege claims. The President Obama made the assertion on June 20th, 2012, just moments before the Attorney General, Eric Holder, was held in contempt in July 2014. After 2 years of battling for information, Judge Bates ordered the Department of Justice to release the Vaughn Index by October 1st. That is just in 6 days. DOJ responded by asking for a month-long delay releasing the list with a deadline of November 3rd, just 1 day before the 2014 midterm elections. Of course, if it gets released, there's no time to look at the list. There's no time to see what's on the list, why, and ask the question, why is this under executive privilege? So, of course, the administration and, of course, the DOJ, which is part of the administration, decided that they don't want to do that. The judge said no. They've got to produce the list by October 22nd. The government's arguments for even more time are unconvincing, Bates said in his ruling. 75 days plus another 21, based in part on Judiciary Watch consent, is enough time for the government to prepare the index that the court has ordered, given that this matter has been pending for over 2 years. The court will therefore extend the department's Vaughn Index submission deadline to October 22nd, 2014, and no further. There you go. Now, they were also hoping, I guess, that by the time they had to release this Vaughn Index, which, ladies and gentlemen, is just a list of the document. It's not the documents. It's just a list of the documents. They were hoping that, I'm sure they were hoping by then there would be a new Attorney General, because they're going to try to push one through as soon as possible, and especially if there happens to be some recess appointments. I don't know if the president will make the same mistake and try to appoint an attorney general without going through the whole torturous, awful process. And it is a torturous, awful process. It just is. I don't know if he'll try to do that. I certainly hope not. He's got nothing to lose. President Obama is on his way out. You know what? The midterm elections are going to happen in a few days, in less than 40 days. So I'm hoping that the president doesn't do that. There you go. In any case, this is going to be very, 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 very interesting. How it all works out. Anyway, we'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the Will Austin Show here on Spreaker.com right after these messages.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up,
cause we know how to jump.
we'll roll it out,
Cause we know how to skate.
we'll cut it down,
Cause we know what to eat.
we'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up,
Cause we know how to hoop.
we'll mess around,
Cause we know how to play.
we'll drop it down,
Cause we know how to dance.
we'll veg it up.
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Search We Can online to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy. Remember, that's We Can. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Behold, we are in the presence of champions. Fantasy sports legends who have earned hundreds of thousands of dollars playing online. Meet Arlie Gonzalez. Average guy, superior sports knowledge. Picked a team in minutes and won enough to throw the party of a lifetime. In outer space. Former accountant Derek Bradley. DraftKings One Day Fantasy Baseball took him from a guy with holes in his underpants to a guy with bikini models in them.
How do we turn our love of fantasy sports into reality cash?
DraftKings.com. They have one-day games, so you're not locked in. It's like a new season every time you play. And best of all, you could win a shipload of money.
Play for the largest one-day cash pools in all of fantasy sports. Go to DraftKings.com and enter the Baseball Chase for the Crown event, paying out over $5 million. Enter promo code BONUS and we'll double your deposit. Get to DraftKings.com now.
Well, good morning. Are you interested in upping your conservative IQ? To be more solid in your conservative thought? To be able to debate at a higher level? To be able to understand at a higher level what conservatism in America is really all about? Well, I can help you now. Alongside us as partners is a new partner, the RedRiverChronicle.com website. The RedRiverChronicle.com website, whose founder is Kevin Batts, understands what conservatism is all about and understands it in the way they write their articles, their commentary, all the educational material that is on the website, put together in a great way, very easy to navigate. So if you want to up your IQ, go to RedRiverChronicle.com. All right, we're back with more of the Will Austin Show here on Spreaker.com. It's late night. It's a late night. Maybe I should take more of an FM radio guy. Well, it's 4 minutes after 12 here in the early hours on September 26, 2014. And for all you hip cats that are interested in the politics of it all, the Willie Austin Show is here for you. Big Daddy Willie is here to hip you to what's happening, so you can start your day knowing what you know, doing what you do, being more and more of you. Maybe we should take this. Okay. Maybe we won't do that anymore. But it was fun. I'm telling you, I did have a good time, and I did think about continuing at least for another half an hour. But I'm not going to. You're welcomed. You're welcome. We're just talking about. It is an interesting. I think it's an interesting move. When my friend Ed Dean from EdDeanRadio.com asked me that this afternoon at 5:00 what I thought, and I said, you know what, I don't trust these people as far as I can throw them. Nothing in this administration been done by this administration has been done by happenstance or accident or coincidence. There's always been some method attached to the madness. There's always been some method attached to the madness, and I don't believe that there's anything different about this resignation and the timing thereof. I think, you know what, and I said to Ed exactly what I just said to you. I think that he wants to be away from the office of Attorney General, so when asked for documents, he can say, I don't have access to those documents. And he won't, because he won't be Attorney General. That's the deal. So he won't have access to the documents, and that's been the major crux of the Fast and Furious prosecution, and why he was held in contempt of court. He was held in contempt of Congress because he would not release the documents. And now they've been sort of trying to put off Congress. They've sort of put off the court by not even providing the Vaughn Index, which is just a list of the documents. They tried to push that back. They tried to stonewall that, and as we just read from the Daily Mail, that they won't be able to do that either. It is interesting that the president, of course, in his gushing remarks about losing Eric Holder as his attorney general for the past 6 years, didn't mention any of these other things that are going on. The question is now, who will replace Holder? The top candidates include Don Verrilli, the U.S. Solicitor General, who successfully defended Obamacare in court before the Supreme Court; former White House counsel Catherine Ruminier; a former Homeland Security, of course, and Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano. Now, I don't think Napolitano wants to leave her cushy job at university to come back and do this, but I think if she gets asked by the president, she will. I also think that she doesn't want to come back because if you've already been the former Homeland Security Secretary, that hearing, that confirmation hearing, is going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal anyway. Brutal. Now, the U.S. Solicitor General that argued successfully defended Obamacare in court before the Supreme Court, that's the guy you have to watch. That's the guy you have to watch. That's the guy you have to watch. This is why this is important. Almost immediately, civil rights activist Al Sharpton, a liberal host on MSNBC, said the administration was consulting with him about who should be the next top dog of the Justice Department. Now, Al Sharpton, I just can't even imagine this being true. I just can't even imagine that the President of the United States would go, listen, I need an attorney general. Who should I ask? Oh, I know. I'll ask frickin' Al Sharpton. This is what Sharpton says. We are engaged in immediate conversation with the White House on deliberations over the successor, who we hope will continue in the general direction of Attorney General Holder, Sharpton said on Thursday. Washington tongue waggers speculated all afternoon that Holder might be leaving in order to prepare himself for a Supreme Court nomination. Oh. Can you imagine? There ain't no way. I mean, I just can't even imagine that even Republicans that Republicans would not walk out of those hearings, and any self-respecting Democrat that wanted to be elected again would confirm Eric Holder to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I just can't even imagine any self-respecting Democrat that would. Allow someone from the pit of hell like Eric Holder to become a Supreme Court justice. I can't even imagine. I'm telling you, if that's the truth, and I know that, I looked at the clock and the clock was stuck. I know that if that happens, we are severely screwed as a nation. Screwed. All done. Take down the flag, wrap up the signs, lock the door. Screwed. It's all over. If someone like Eric Holder actually gets on to the highest court in the nation, I think that is important. If you weren't thinking about voting in the in the 2014 elections, it is so important that we make sure that Congress and the governor and the governors around the state and the city council and county commission positions where you live are shored up with as many conservatives as we possibly can get, if nothing else, for a prophylactic approach to government. And what I mean is that the city where you live should be protecting itself prophylactically against the ravages of county government. County government should be protecting your county where you live, or parish where you live, from the reckless behavior of your state government. Your state government should be protecting itself from the reckless and horrendous way and overreaching hand of the federal government, and that's what it's all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. That's what needs to happen. And that's how it needs to happen, and which is why you need to participate. Because if there's a chance that Eric Holder just doesn't go home, or just doesn't go on a speaking tour, or just doesn't go work at a college or university, that he actually gets a higher, more important position in this government, we are screwed if we don't have the prophylactic protections in place. And they are all the things I said they were, and in the way I said they were. So I think that is extremely, extremely important, that we participate in this upcoming election. Again, thank you again for participating, and we're gonna talk about this in a real way on the Willie Lawson Show tomorrow. How important it is now more than ever to participate, as we're just a few days away from the midterm elections. I also had a conversation with Ed Dean about the participation of black people, black Americans, in this election. And all the numbers say that things are back to normal. And by normal, I mean is that black people, especially black Democrats who live in urban areas, don't vote. Now, all the talking heads on TV will tell you, well, they didn't have anything to vote for. Why? Because the idea was if there wasn't somebody black or some black issue on the ballot, there was no reason for the black person who lived in the urban community to vote. Well, that's just nonsense. That's just racist, bigoted nonsense, isn't it? That's what that is, and that's why I'm always saying that if you're looking for racism under every rock, there's a good chance that rock's going to be painted blue. There's a very good shot that rock is going to be painted blue and have a big D on it, because some of the most racist, golly, I can't cuss, people that exist, the people who say, well, black people won't vote because there's no black issues. Why they got to be a black issue? Why can't I vote because I think my taxes are too high? Why won't I vote because I think that the government has overreached? Why do you think I won't vote because I don't think that the federal government should be involved in local educational issues, and I don't want anybody who supports a federal takeover of my local education issues to be governor of my state. Why I got to be black issues, and why I got to be a black person? Why would you pigeonhole me into that? Who would do that? A bigot. That's the only person who would do that, would be a bigot. That's the only person who would pigeonhole me into something like that, would be a bigot. Correct? A person who thought that I was smart enough to think on my own, a person who thought I was smart enough to be able to consider all the issues and understand what affected me and what doesn't affect me, would never pigeonhole me into something that is, quote, a black issue. This isn't a review of the movie Good Hair that we're going to on in November. This isn't holding up the movie Shaft as a great motion picture. This is my country. This is the future of my country. And my vote on that Faithful Tuesday, or whenever I decide to vote, I will probably vote early. And that way I don't, again, like I said before, that way when I go to vote, I go to vote at the supervisor election office, and I don't have to put up with those old ladies looking at me going, we're Republican. You know, I don't have to put up with that nonsense. When you go vote early, you don't have to put up with that nonsense. So there you go. So that's probably what I'll do. All right, listen, I'm going to get out of here. It is late, and we've got stuff to do tomorrow, and I got to record a show to respond to somebody on Facebook Well, it won't be a show. It'll just be a response. In any case, thanks ever so much for coming to the Will Lawson Show here on Spreaker.com. And I will see you guys when I see you. Just like always, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.